What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. North Texas Kayak Championship Series Lake Fork is in the books. Headed home. Gonna try and kind of relax a little bit. It was a rough day out there, so thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the Paramedic Yacker. And stay tuned. We're going to talk about what I learned out at Lake Fork and my experiences with Lake Fork. So stay tuned and stick around. So let's talk Lake Fork. Anybody who bass fishes, especially here in Texas, knows about Lake Fork. Lake Fork's one of the best bass lakes in the country. Probably one of the best bass lakes in Texas. They've got some big bass out there. Well, we had our fourth tournament of the season for North Texas Kayak Championships, and I pre-fished Lake Fork quite a bit. I'll have to say this, I was intimidated going out there. There's a lot of hype about Lake Fork. I was hoping to possibly catch a double-digit bass out there. Didn't happen. You know, maybe on a return trip it might happen, so we'll keep that in mind. But a lot of people have talked about it. You know, it's a little bit different when you go out there in a kayak. There's a lot of boat traffic out there, a lot of boat tournaments. But from my experiences with the boat traffic, it wasn't that bad. But also I did a lot of my pre-fishing throughout the week. Because I didn't want to mess with the boat traffic. So I got a late start for this tournament with my pre-fishing. I probably didn't start until about 2 weeks before the tournament, which is not like me. Normally I start about a month in advance. I had never fished Lake Fork, so it was a new experience. Well, I get out there, of course I do all the, my normal pre-planning. I look at my maps, I look at launch sites, I look at Google Maps, try and find out, what kind of terrain and, what kind of features the lake has. So, I did all that. Felt pretty good about, finding a couple, we'll say several decent spots to fish. So I get out there my first day and I find this epic looking lily pad area. It looks like frog heaven out there. And I get out of the truck and I'm like, oh, one of those deals. It's awesome. And of course I fish it for about 5 hours. It was kind of a quick trip. It was a quick get out there and then get back home. And I caught 4 fish. None of them were on topwater. None of them were on frogs. So that was a little disappointing. Being this amazing looking area out there, portion of the lake. I hear all these stories about the lily pads out at Lake Fork and how, awesome they are to fish, but not at that spot. So I don't know if it was just the day. I don't know what the pressure was out there. So didn't catch anything real great that day. I think the biggest one was maybe like might have been 17 inches. I mean, it's okay. It's a good tournament fish for kayak fishing. So within the next, week and a half, I start fishing it a lot. So I'm getting off work, my 24-hour shift. I'll drive out to Lake Fork. I'll camp, or I'll fish when I get there, camp out overnight, and then launch again in the morning and fish another spot in the morning. And I did this 4 days one week, and I did another day like another week. So I was probably out there, I think, 6 times total before the tournament. And all in all, the fishing was difficult. I'm not very good at fishing like Carolina rigs and anything deeper than probably 15 feet. There was a lot of fish holding 20, 25 feet deep. It was starting to warm up out there. So of course the fish aren't going to be shallow. They're hiding deep. And I threw some deep diving crankbaits. I threw some football jigs, some pretty heavy football jigs, to try and get down into those lower levels. And but I never really had any success. Everything was still kind of shallow for me. I found a couple fish in some grass. I guess some of the grass lines that they had, and I think pretty much what was working out the best for me was a shaky head again. So, but yeah, going into the tournament, I didn't feel real comfortable. I still kind of was trying to figure out what my plan was going to be. I had my first spot in the morning figured out. And what's kind of cool about that is I had fished that spot previously, and I did pretty well with top water. I think I caught 3. My biggest one, actually, biggest fish of the year, and my biggest fish out at Lake Fork was caught in that area. It was a 19.5-inch largemouth. Caught on a, I think it was a booyah. It's got the clacker. It's a buzzbait. So I caught a couple fish on that. I caught a couple fish on a frog, and the topwater action was pretty good in that area. So that was my main plan, to go there early in the morning, start my topwater first, and hope to bag like 3 or 4 fish out there. Well, I get there, and one of the number 1 guys on our tournament series, he was out there. It was just me and him, and it kind of makes you feel good when you're doing all this pre-fishing that you're going to places that these guys who are doing really well are going to as well. So that kind of said something to me, that, hey, I'm kind of on the right track with this. And I talked with him a little bit, and he said, he's going to try and get in there and get a limit real quick. And he only caught like 2 fish, like I only caught 1. But I caught 1. It was 17.5 inches. Caught him on that buzzbait again. And I fished that for a couple hours in the morning, and then my plan was to move on to my other spot, which I actually had 2 other spots, but I was just going to fish one of them. So I didn't get as many fish as I wanted to, and I made the move over to my other spot. He was actually making a move to another spot as well. So I get over to my other spot, and it was let me say this real quick. Before I got to that other spot, the wind this morning was a little bad. Made topwater very difficult. It actually kind of washed out the area that I was fishing in. The area that I originally, this morning that I launched in, had a lot of just kind of patches on top of the surface, And what I was doing was I was running that buzzbait in between the patches, and I was having real good luck in between the patches. Well, all those patches were gone when I got there this morning, and the wind was moving all that water to the back of that cove, so everything was kind of washed out. So it was real difficult fishing. And then also we had some boat traffic come in there because there was another tournament today out there. As usual, they've got several boat tournaments, and you know, I'm contending with these guys. It seemed to me like every time I would point the nose of my kayak in a direction and start going towards that direction and casting out in that direction, those guys would turn their boat and start working their way towards me. So it was frustrating, you know, and only catching the one fish out there. So I made a move to my next spot, get out to my next spot, and it's pretty much at a standstill. I knew that probably at about 10 o'clock in the morning, just from previous experiences out there, that I probably wouldn't have much luck out there. So I get around the point and I catch one 10.5-inch bass on a shaky head off a dock, and that was pretty much it. You know, I went around the corner, I went into the cove, my other cove. It was kind of protected from the wind. Now I will say this, I was over there for a couple hours, and in the couple hours I did have 3 bites, but they were quick bites. And in my mind, a quick bite is they just snap at it, and then you lift your line up, hoping that they're going to kind of start moving it because they've picked it up. And what they would do, they would just snap at it and drop it. So I had that happen to me 3 times, didn't hook anything, and it was hot, it was windy, and I actually camped out last night so I wouldn't have to drive 2 hours in the morning. And I slept in the back of the bed of my truck. I put a little mat back there, sleeping bag, and it was comfortable. It wasn't bad. But 3:30 this morning, we're not supposed to be up till about 4:15, maybe 4:30, because we've got the meeting, captain's meeting at 4:30. Well, these guys come in and they're slamming doors and just being loud, and of course I wake up instantly, and so 3:30 here I am in the morning. You know, I've still got like an hour to sleep, but I can't go back to sleep. So, but you know, it didn't have any effect on my fishing. Just the bites weren't there today. It was weird. From what I'm understanding, a lot of the other guys kind of had the same experience as I did, so I don't feel as bad. One of my buddies caught just like a 13-inch largemouth, and I know a couple of the other guys that I just in passing talked to said they only had 1 fish as well. So I'm kind of interested in seeing where this went. I don't know if my second fish will count. I can't remember what the minimum length is on our for our tournaments, if it's 10 or 12 inches. But I submitted the 10.5-inch just in case. So we'll see. But Lake Fork, in my opinion, is a very, very difficult lake to fish. You have to be able to fish in deeper water. You have to be good at fishing in deeper water. I don't have any feel when I fish a Carolina rig. I'm new to it, and I could have gotten probably a couple bites that I would never know. I don't know if I need a sensitive rod or different setup or what, but everything out there looks fishy. It looks great. There's so many spots out there to choose from. I can only imagine going out there during the spawn, you know, like kind of mid to end March or something. I bet you that place is just unreal. and I bet you it's a pretty good time. So, but yeah, it was real frustrating to put that much work in. I fished probably, I'm going to say at least 35 hours out there prior to the tournament, and to only catch those 2 fish, it's difficult, it's frustrating. So, but it is what it is. You know, I guess we'll have to just start preparing for the next tournament. And you know, there's, like I said, there's all this talk about Lake Fork and how great it is, and I'm sure it is. If I'm not the best fisherman out there by far, so I'm sure, you know, if you know the places to go, if you know some different techniques and you're better at some of these techniques than I am, I think Lake Fork would be a great place. You just kind of, if you're doing it from a kayak, you just kind of have to watch out for, you know, crossing the boat lanes and things like that. But other than that, it's a real pretty place. I enjoyed my time out there, and you know, I probably will return in the future. You know, it might be a place I bring the kids out to and see if maybe they can catch something decent. My buddy out there during practice, he caught an 8.5 pound largemouth, so, you know, congrats to him. That's awesome. Another buddy of mine caught, I think, a 6.5 pound. So, you know, they're out there. They're definitely out there. And I'm interested to see what big bass was today. So, but yeah, guys, that's kind of my recap. I did have some problems out there with, I keep a flag, my Texas flag on my kayak right behind the right side, and of course that's my casting side. And I've been meaning to move it over to the left side for probably the last year, and I just haven't done it. And today I bird nested 2 of my reels. I know I lost a leader or 2 off another one. I got stuck, I think, on my wacky rig in a tree, and it was rough out there. And so I was down two reels, you know, 2 rod and reel setups. So then you're having to change a lot of the stuff up, you know, like, oh, well, I'm gonna have to put this crankbait on, you know, this and that, and I'm gonna have to change this, and so it made it a little interesting. But, you know, I got what I needed to do, I guess. You know, I got as much as, I guess, comfortable as I could with what I was dealt with. So, but yeah, that was it. I wish I had some good video out there. I really don't. Oh, but here's another thing that started last night, started the weekend. On my way out to Lake Fork, I was driving down the highway, and I look in my rearview mirror, and I see that the top of my crate's open. So I pull over, I go to inspect the crate, and right before I had left, I had put both of my action cameras up in the top of that crate. Never put them there. I don't know why I did it this time, but one of them flew out and is somewhere down, I guess, around Canton area. I don't know, on 30. So if that's 30 or 20, whatever interstate that is. But it was dark outside. I didn't know where I lost it. So I wasn't going to go out there and look for it. And I wasn't going to go back today and look for it. You know, it's like a $60 camera. It sucks, but it is what it is. You know, it was my stupidity. I probably should have put it somewhere else, and I will next time. So I'm going to probably have to order another camera again. So, but looks like we'll be heading to Granbury for Lake Granbury for the next upcoming tournament. I'm trying to get out on the Brazos River with some friends and stuff. I've been trying to plan a trip out there for a while. I'd like to do some fly fishing out there, you know, actually take a fun day of fishing. I was thinking about that while I was out there on the water today, and I was just like, man, this is a beat down, and just I can't wait to get back to, you know, fishing for fun and, you know, having a good time with it, not having to really keep score. And even though I do have, you know, Kayak Wars, I'll submit that 17.5 to the Kayak War points. But it's going to be nice once this is over, you know, since this is my first season and I'm having to work a lot harder than a lot of the guys that know these lakes, since I don't know any of them. And it's going to be a good break once we get done. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. And I'm a little worried about what my place is going to be after today. I was sitting in 16th place, and I'm probably gonna drop quite a bit. So that's unfortunate, especially with as much time as I put in the lake before going out there. But you know, this is all a learning experience for me. I'm just trying to get out there and learn, you know, how to utilize my time better in a tournament. How to work through, you know, some of these complications that I have in a tournament, you know, with like bird nesting a reel or something like that, you know, how to bounce back from that kind of stuff. And so, but real quick, guys, I have been asked a while back, I don't know if I've told you all this, but I've been asked a while back to write kind of about my tournament experiences in a I guess it's an outdoor, I don't want to call it a blog, but it's an outdoor kind of kayak fishing, not a magazine, but just they have several articles in there that people write, and it's called Lone Star Chronicles, and I'm really enjoying my time that I'm getting to write about these tournament mishaps, these tournament adventures, and all that. So I'll go ahead and put a link in my video here of how you can get to Lone Star Chronicles. I had one article posted. It was posted in two separate, they split it in half, and then I don't know if this next one's going to be split in half too. So there might be 3 or 4 out now, but I'll include that in the bottom description part, and you guys can check that out, and you know, give me some feedback on that, and let me know what y'all think. You know, I feel very honored to be able to do that, and it's actually pretty cool. I don't know, I guess that writing kind of frees your mind to some stuff. So but yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in again, and we're gonna hopefully have some stuff set up this coming week or two for you, as we maybe get to some other fishing spots, and maybe I'll let you know here coming up where and how I placed in this tournament. So guys, thanks for tuning in, and if you guys are new members, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.